Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a Bronco Everglades. And today, I'm gonna review it for you guys. Now, as much as I'd love to perpetually film the entirety of this video at sunset, realistically, that's just not possible. But I do think this overcast look still makes the Everglades look tough. But the toughest looking part on this particular trim of the Bronco is by far this massive winch that you get on the front. As far as I know, this is the only vehicle currently on sale that includes a winch from the factory, and it can tow up to 10,000 pounds. It includes this handy attachment right here that plugs in and allows you to tighten or loosen the winch. In addition to that, stepping down here, you'll get a steel front bumper and steel skid plates underneath. And while I can't say that makes this the most off-road equipped Bronco, because the entire lineup is sort of designed to be off-road focused, this one does stand out with some additional off-road goodies, specifically this winch. Moving up to the headlights, you'll have full LEDs with LED daytime running lights that double as your turn signals, and you'll have Bronco spelled out on the grille, though it's blacked out here. It's a little hard to see. I kind of wish that this was white. I think that would contrast a little bit better. That's just a personal preference for me. Moving underneath the hood in this Everglades, it's powered by a 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder, making 300 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. And that's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The EPA estimates that this gets 18 city and 17 highway with 18 miles per gallon combined. And during my week with this Bronco, I averaged 16.8 miles per gallon. Moving to the profile of the Everglades, I'm actually gonna do the profile here from the passenger side. That's not something I normally do, but there's a reason why. Because in addition to that massive winch, you also get a snorkel here. Yes, this is a functional snorkel, and that gives this Bronco a water fording depth of 36.4 inches. Now, I'm not gonna ford any water in this video, but it is an available feature if you'd wanna do that in your Bronco Everglades. Then moving down here to the wheels and massive tires, you'll get LT 315/70R Goodyears around these 17-inch wheels. Now, these bigger tires and this lift is part of the Sasquatch package. That is an optional package on most, if not all, of the Broncos. And here on the Everglades, it's standard. So you get a little bit more of a lift and it's a beefier look overall. Then moving up here, this is probably my least favorite part of the Everglades trim. Now, most of the other Bronco models have a little sticker denoting what their trim is on the profile, but here you get a huge sticker, and I don't think I'm a fan of it. It's grown on me for sure, but it just seems kind of aftermarket, especially at a distance, and I prefer the entire green look. I mean, this color is so nice. Now, some people are gonna absolutely love this sticker. It does have some cool, like, topical charts and like Bigfoot sightings. You can see the Sasquatch package sticker right there. It's definitely clever. I think personally, if I own this though, I'd probably take it off. Though it's not the end of the world, you know, it's just a sticker, so you can keep it if you want, you can take it off if you don't want it. Moving on to the mirrors here, they are black plastic, they do have blind spot monitoring, and they are power adjusting. Then you will have keyless entry here, so if you have the key in your pocket, you can tap that, that will lock the vehicle, and you can put your hand behind the door, that will unlock the vehicle. And then moving further down the profile back here, the hardtop roof is what's currently on this one. I believe this is the only roof configuration you can get for the Everglades. The soft top is available on different trims, though this is still all removable if you'd want to do that. I'm not gonna take it off today because it's cold already, and I'd like to do the driving segment a little bit warm, but that is an available feature to take that off if you'd like. You'll have your Bronco badge back here, parking sensors on another steel bumper, your backup camera incorporated into your big spare tire right here, and then you'll have a tow hitch right there, and then more parking sensors, your Ford badge. This is also lockable right here. You can tap that if you have the key in your pocket, and then you can put your hand there and unlock it. Swinging the lift gate out right here, you have a spot to put your accessories if you'd like, and then we can lift this part of the window up, giving you full access into the rear. There is a decent amount of storage back here, and of course, if you'd like to increase that, you can fold these second row seats down for even more storage. This also includes a little storage pouch for the front 2 roof panels, so if you'd like to take those off and put them back here, that is a nice addition. There's also a 12-volt back here and an LED light. Now, my favorite part of the rear is something you might not notice at first glance. Coming down here, there's a little picture of a Bronco and a guy sitting on the back with a drink, or maybe he's warming his hands, and then there's a little fire. Then there's these 2 arrows. If I pull this out, that will present this little bench that you can sit on, and it really supports a ton of weight. It's very cool. I love this inclusion, and it's got that Heritage Ford logo. It's really a clever idea. It's the first time I've seen it on a Bronco, though I'm sure it's been around as an optional feature for a little while. Moving to the interior, the first thing I want to highlight is this key fob. I forgot to mention it outside. In addition to lock, unlock, and panic, you'll also get remote start. Pretty standard Ford key, though it does say Bronco on the back, which is nice. Now, this interior is nicely laid out, though you won't find premium plush materials in here because this interior is designed to get dirty, to get mud on it and grass and dirt, and to be easily cleaned out. In fact, these seats, for example, are marine grade vinyl, so they can really be cleaned up quite easily, and they can get water on them if necessary. It's not the end of the world if they get splashed, which is cool. And because you have the ability to take the roof off and these doors off, Ford is betting on the fact that you're probably going to get it pretty dirty in here. Starting with the door panel here, I'll open this up so we have a little bit more light. This is hard touch. This is a nicer soft touch material right here where you could rest your arm, but because this panel is removable, there's not a lot of features built in. So you'll basically have lock and unlock right there, and then a little cargo net for storage, but not a ton. What I do like is that unlike the Jeep Wrangler, which puts its mirrors on the doors, so when you take the doors off, you're also removing your mirrors, Ford has thought ahead, and the mirrors are placed right by the A-pillar. So you can remove these doors and you'll still have your mirrors. That is a huge benefit that the Bronco has over the Wrangler. You'll have a grab handle right here on both the driver and the passenger side. It's a nifty place to put it. I believe the Land Rover Defender also does that as well. You'll have your lighting controls down here, electronic parking brake, and the hood popper. And then you will have a manual adjustment for the tilting and telescoping here on the steering wheel. It's a little bit stiff and hard to do with one hand. Here on the steering wheel, this is fairly plush and sort of comfy. It's probably the nicest material you'll feel in here, but that's good because you're touching the steering wheel the most. You'll have your volume controls right here, your cruise control settings, and then Bluetooth and a little bit of the navigation in the center screen. Now, turning this on, I'll talk a little bit about that. You do get a traditional speedometer here, a physical gauge, and then a little screen here, and that is controlled right here. You have a lot of different settings that you can go through. Your off-road pitch and roll, your power distribution, tire pressure, the standard stuff you'd expect, but it's nice that you have it. Your turbo boost right here. And there's a lot of different customization type things that you can configure. So for example, you want to turn your lane keeping assist on, that'll pop onto the screen and that'll add a little Bronco. But if you don't want that there, you can take that off and kind of free up that screen a little bit. It doesn't have the ability to change colors or do anything wildly different as far as I know, but it's a nice inclusion with a lot of helpful information. Then moving over here, you have a massive infotainment screen, and you'll get your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto availability here. You of course have FM, AM, Sirius XM, and regular Bluetooth if you'd like to use that. And then you can see here on the side, you can have some more information, whether you want your navigation up there, your off-road status. You also have pitch and roll that pops in. So you can see there's a little bit of lag at times with certain apps on both of the screens, though it's not something that's super noticeable. It's not often, and it doesn't come up as a major issue from what I've found. And what I like is you have physical climate controls, so you don't have to worry about digging through the screen for those. I do like how you have a classic Bronco here as the pitch and roll image. Now, going through this screen, as I mentioned, the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto, you have some settings you can go through. You can choose different driver assistance configuration stuff, but for the most part, there's not a ton of features in this compared to some of the other high trims. I know, for example, they have zone lighting. I've reviewed the Raptor that has the lights that go 360. That's not going to be available on this particular Everglades, but it is nice to have some cool features audio-wise in the screen. And putting this into reverse, you have a very big backup camera, and it gives you the ability to zoom in really close if you want. You can turn your parking sensors on and off from here, and as you turn the wheel, you also get lines that turn. This is, despite being very large, a super clear backup camera. It's very, very crisp. I really like its inclusion, though the backup camera is all that you get here on the Everglades. There's no front camera, but the winch would probably block the front camera anyway, so that was probably a smart move. Moving down here, as I mentioned, you'll get physical climate controls, heated seats, which is always a welcome inclusion. Then you'll have USB and USB-C down here. You're designed and engineered by the Dearborn Assembly Plant plaque, and it looks like a little Bronco front end. I love that little detail. I think that's pretty neat. Your shifter right here. Here on the Everglades, automatic is the only available transmission. And then you will have your drive mode selector. You can spin this for your different modes. That will appear on the screen. You want to go into eco, you want to do sport, and it gives you little animations for each of those. So I think that's a really cool inclusion as well. Nope, we don't need to go into rock crawl. It's okay. Let me see if I can get it back. Yeah, normal. There we go. And then you also have 2-wheel drive, 4 high, 4 low, and 4 automatic. And then this is hill descent control. Or this is the trail control, my mistake. There we go, trail control. So there is some nice customization there if you really want to take this off-road. In addition to that, above the screen, you will have a front rocker. A front rocker. I'm going into my Scooby-Doo voice. A front rocker. A front locker. That's what you get. A rear locker. And then this is trail turn assist, so that's nice that that's included as well. You also have traction control off and your hazards up there. You'll have a standard auto dimming mirror, your auxiliary buttons up here if you want to attach additional things. So you already have the winch and it has its control button. And if you want to put an LED light bar or anything additional on, you can put that in here, and you can hook it up to one of those auxiliary switches, which is a great addition. Continuing on back down here, you'll have your window controls in the center console. That's because you can take the doors off, as I've mentioned a few times, and your mirror controls are also there as well. So opening this up, you'll get a little storage cubby that can slide right here and is removable. And then in addition to that, this is where the winch control was stored, at least when I got this press vehicle. So I don't know if that's where most people put it, but that makes sense. pretty logical to hide it away in there. This is also lockable, which is a really nice added detail. And then your glove box is pretty decently sized in here. That's also lockable. And that pretty much wraps up the front. Moving to the second row seats, I have the front row seat positioned where I would sit at 5'9" as the driver. And I'd say back here I have 4.5, maybe 5 inches of legroom. It's not bad. And then I have maybe 2 or 3 inches of headroom. It's fairly spacious back here. And then moving down to the center console, Ford does not want you to step here, and they will do everything they can to remind you of it. Then you have your window controls, USB and USB-C, and a household outlet down there. Then there is an eeny weeny teeny tiny armrest that folds down with 2 cup holders. And I really like this feature. There is a little bit of a recline in the seats. You can adjust that with this pull tab. And I'm glad that there is, because this is the standard position of the seats, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. But with the recline, these rear seats are a little bit more enjoyable, so I'm glad that that feature is there. Before I move to the driving segment, I just wanted to highlight something kind of funny that happened to me during the editing process for this video. So early on in the edit, I grabbed a picture of the Bronco configurator for an earlier segment, and I wanted to go back to the configurator to check something on the Everglades, and I noticed within like 2 days they had changed from the 2024 Broncos to the 2025s. And in the 2025 configurator, the Everglades trim is not an option. And so I did some research and I found out that the Everglades was exclusively for 2022 to 2024. So I suspect that the overall value of the Everglades models will increase with time because it had such a limited production number. All right, driving the Bronco Everglades, getting this out and about on the road, I am so thankful that Ford brought the Bronco back. I think it's a great looking SUV. The heritage design was knocked out of the park. It looks new, but also still looks old. It's the perfect mix, and I'm so thankful for it. It has an incredibly commanding view as well. Whenever I get behind the wheel of one of these, I feel like I'm king of the road. Even if I were to compare this to an F-250 or something huge like that, I feel like the Bronco just oozes cool, and that's especially true here on the Everglades. I think this is probably the most off-road capable of the trims that I've reviewed. I haven't reviewed every single one of these. I've done some of the lower trims, which come with some nice off-road added bonuses, but you don't get anything like the snorkel and the winch. Those are 2 massive upgrades on here that I think really sell this vehicle. And you also get the additions of the front and the rear locker and trail turn assist. It really is a very well-equipped Bronco for the overlander or the full off-roader. I think if you're looking for something like this, this absolutely checks most of the boxes. When it comes to driving dynamics, it drives like a brick, because it is. Acceleration is decent. It takes a little bit to get up to speed, but that's to be expected, not being the most aerodynamic vehicle available for sale today. And as we get this up to speed on the highway, the wind noise becomes very apparent because this has removable panels. It's not sealed with sound dampening as finely as a traditional SUV would be with a non-removable roof. So that's to be expected. That's something that you get on Jeeps as well, but it's still something worth noting. You are going to get some wind noise here on the highway, and you do get some creaks and shudders occasionally from the roof as well. Little, noises when you go over bumps because it's something that comes off. It's not like one big piece. So those are trade-offs. Those are trade-offs in a vehicle like this. If you got the cash, I think it's a great, fun off-roading SUV. And it's a looker. Everywhere you go, especially in eruption green, this thing draws attention. I think that's maybe some of the reason that some people buy these. I totally recommend one. I also totally recommend taking the stickers off, but that's just me. All right, guys, that's just about going to wrap up this review on the Bronco. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Before I go, though, I'd like to mention that I'm a Christian. And if you have any prayer requests, I would love to be able to pray for you guys. You can leave those in the comment section below. And lastly, I like to close out on a scriptural reading. This week, I'm in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 10. The Apostle Paul is speaking here, and he says, "For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong." All right, guys, take care. And remember, no matter what vehicle you drive, I hope it lasts you a long time and it serves you well.